accept, go to header, use the accept application slash JSON. I accept JSON data. Click on send. Get request, accept, send. Okay. Am I able to get the data in the JSON format? Am I able to get the data in the JSON format? How come the data coming in the JSON format? Client. I'm client now. I'm using Postman. I'm sending a get request localhost colon 9090/books. Click on send. Are we able to get the response in the JSON format? Are we able to get the response in the JSON format? Okay. I want XML. Accept application slash XML. Click on send. I got the response in the XML format. So do you understand how we will deal with multiple objects in the REST API? Do you understand how we will deal with multiple objects in the REST API? Yes guys, perfect. Now some people are thinking, hey Ashok, why are you taking books class here? Why don't you take list of book? Why don't you take list of book and take books list as a parameter? Do you have that question? List of book. Now what I am returning? Collection I am returning. What is my return type? List of book. Okay. Chalo, let's run this project guys. Run this project. Run as boot app. Run as boot app. Run as boot app. Application running. Go to Postman. Can you see my Postman? Accept is application slash JSON. Accept is application slash JSON. Send the request. Is it working? Is my method working for JSON data? Is there any problem? Is there any problem with my method when I want XML as JSON as a response? Accept is a JSON. Click on send. No problem at all. I got this. Now TK, I want XML. Application slash XML. Click on send. 500 internal server error. If my method is returning a collection list, is it converting to XML and coming? Is it converting to XML and coming, or it is giving a problem? 500 server, a problem. Internal server error. It is unable to convert that list object into XML. Exception handler resolver could not find acceptable representation present with the content type null. Array list is available. No converter available for the array list class in the JAXB. Is it converting that list object list to XML, or it is not able to convert the list to XML? Is it converting the list to XML, or it is not able to convert the list to XML? It is not able to convert the list to XML. Are you guys getting my point? Okay. Now do you understand why I have taken a separate class called books to represent multiple book records? Now do you understand why I have taken books class to represent multiple book objects now? Got it now? This is a good design guys. Whenever you are dealing with multiple records, then take one class which supports list of objects. In books class, why data annotation? to generate the setter and getter, man. Books dot set books list, books dot get books list. We need to set the data to this variable, na? Here I'm setting the data to that variable, right? Books dot set book list method for generating setter getters for this variable. This is a variable. This is a variable. Okay. Now do you understand why I have taken one book class? Book class is just for representing one book record. Books class is going to represent a list of book records. Representing list of book records. Now my method is responsible to return list of book records. That's why I have taken books as a return type. I'm creating the data. I'm creating the data for book objects. I'm storing them in the collection. The collection of objects I'm setting to books dot. I'm setting to books dot set of book list. Then I'm returning that as a response. Now it is working fine. Now it is working fine. So do you understand how to deal with multiple objects in the API? In future, what we will do? We will remove this hard-coded logic. We will get it from the database. Currently, the books records are hard-coded. In future, we will get this data from the database. In future, we will get this data from the database. भैया समझ में आया क्या? Now, I want to develop one method which is post, which is going to take multiple books. Can we go for a post request method? Can we? Yes, you can use anything, man. Swagger or Postman, whichever you want, you can use. Okay? Can we develop one method which will take multiple book records using post request? Right? Can we develop one method which is used to take multiple books using post request? Right? Now, public response entity of string add books. Add books means books list I'm going to get. From where I will get this data? I will get this data from request body. From where I will get this data? I will get this data from the request body. Now here I'm going to write some dummy logic. Return new response entity of some message http status dot created. http status dot created. What is that message? Books added. What is that message, guys? Books added. This method I will bind to post request. Post mapping of slash books. Value is equal to slash books. Now here I will take consumes because it is going to accept the data. To accept the data we are going to use consumes. How we will use this? Application slash XML and application slash JSON. Application slash XML, application slash JSON. Okay. Value is equal to books, post request. Consumes, which can consume the data in the XML or in the JSON format. Here what I will do is books list dot for each. Sorry, books list dot get of books list, which is going to give me list of book objects collection. Books list. Okay. Now I just want to print it. List dot for each. List dot for each. System dot out dot println. I just want to print that on the console. I want to see whatever the data that we are sending in the post request body, is that coming in the method parameter or not. If it is coming in the method parameter, I want to print on the console. In future, we will write the logic to add the data to database. In future, we will add the logic to add the record to the database table. In future, we will add the logic to add the record to database table. Are you clear with this point? You got it, guys? You got my point, huh? Now, how can we test this? Let's stop our application, run as boot app. Whatever the data that we send in Postman, that should come and print on the console. That should come and print on the console. Okay? Clear that console. Clear that console. Go to Postman. Go to Postman. Can you guys see the Postman now? Can you guys see the Postman now? Now, I got the data. I have the XML data. Can I give this XML data as an input for the post method? Can I give this XML data as the input for the post method, guys? Can I give this XML data as input for the post method? Post method header accept XML or content type is XML. Content type is XML. We are sending XML as the content type. Go to body, give this XML. Give this XML. Click on send button. What happened? Books added. Books added. Go to console. Are you able to see the books data in the object format? Are you able to see the books data in the object format? Come on, Bhaiya. How I am sending the books data from the request? From the Postman, how I am sending the books data? In the Postman, I am sending the books data in the request body using XML format. How the server will understand that I am sending the data in the XML format? Content type. Content type is application/XML. Deva Prasad, nobody accessing our API, man. We developed our API. We are testing our API from the Postman. That's it. We have developed our API. We are testing our API from the Postman. Nobody consuming our API now. Samjha? Guys, are you able to follow me? Are we able to send a post request with multiple records in the request body in the XML format? This is the method which is binded to post request. This is the method which is binded to post request. This request is expecting books parameter. So I am giving multiple book records in the XML format. This is my input XML for the API. I am sending post request. Click on send button. Now see in the console, whatever the data that we are sending in the XML format, that data converted to Java object at the API side. Programmer is writing the logic to convert the XML data to Java object, or Spring Boot is doing that conversion. Programmer is doing that conversion, or Spring Boot is doing that conversion. Spring Boot is doing that conversion. Are you able to understand now? Can I send a get request with JSON data as expected value? Click on send. I'm getting JSON data. Can I send this JSON data in the post request instead of XML? Can I send a JSON data as a? Can I send the JSON data in the post request? Clear the console. Clear the console. Send a post request with JSON data. See that? JSON data also convert. My REST API is tightly coupled with only XML, or my REST API is tightly coupled with only JSON, or my REST API is independent on the data format. My REST API is tightly coupled with only XML or JSON, or it is independent. Tightly coupled. देव प्रसाद, it is tightly coupled. देव प्रसाद, आप कहाँ से आए भाई? क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? Is it tightly coupled? What are you thinking, man? What are you listening to the class? It is loosely coupled. My program is working only for JSON data, na? My program is taking only JSON data, na? If you don't practice, everything will be confusing for you. He's saying that everything is confusing today. I'm not understanding anything. What is there not to understand? Am I doing any rocket science application here? Your focus is not there on the class. That is the reason you are not able to understand. 100 plus, almost 130 plus people are there. Everybody able to understand. Why only you are not able to understand? Why only you are not able to understand, man? That means you are not practicing daily. Am I teaching any rocket science application? Guys, tell me. Now, here, my post request method is accepting only XML or only JSON, or it is accepting all. Come on, guys. Come on. My method is accepting both XML data and JSON data. Now, now I developed one REST API. It is binded to post request. It is binded to post request. What is the consumes formats I have specified? XML data and JSON data. I have specified XML data and JSON data. Okay. Now, go to Postman. Why we are using Postman? To test the API. To test our API. Okay. Now, go here. Post. URL. Body. What data I am giving in the body? JSON data. Books data I am giving in the JSON format. Does this JSON contains only one book record? Multiple book records are available. This books data is going to the REST API in the request body. Am I clear? We have a REST API developed. That REST API having a post request method. That REST API can consume the data in the form of XML or JSON. Good. Now, I am using my Postman. Inside the Postman, I am selecting the request type as post. I have type the URL. I am giving the data in the form of JSON in the body. What is the header I am sending? Content type. What is the purpose of content type? Dev Prasad, you can unmute your mic, man. For you only I am repeating. What is the purpose of content? Dev Prasad, can you unmute your mic? Buddy, can you unmute your mic? I want to speak with you. J. Dev Prasad.
Yes, Ashok. Tell me, Ashok.
What is the purpose of content type?
To check whether our request is coming in the form of application or request format JSON. Whether we want to accept, we are setting a header in the request body, whether to accept it or not, whether to accept that and generate a response in the form of JSON or not. That's what the content type is.
Content type is for generating the response format.
introduction. This is not good, Ashok.
Sir, this you are not the one person in the class, sir. There are 150 people available
Yes,
in the
sir.
class.
Yes,
You are
sir.
saying that
I am the one of the
content type
person
is
who
for
is suffering
response.
a lot with this, sir. I told you already, sir. Please give time for doubts qualitatively. You never gave us time, and you are running like anything, and we don't follow the concept, and we are first off.
Let 1 minute, sir. Let me complete the session. Let's have the doubts today. Let me clarify all your doubts. Okay?
I told you, na, sir. I spoke with you personally on the phone also. I was waiting every day for you.
Okay, let's wait. Let's wait today out. Let me give 10 minutes. I will complete the class. We will talk with you. Okay? Now, understand, sir. You can clearly now. Content type is not for the response. You got completely confused with the content type. Content type is for the input format. In which format we are sending the data to the server in the request body to specify that we are giving the content type. Now, I am giving the data in the request body in the JSON format. To tell to the REST API, I am giving the data in the JSON format. I am setting the content type. Now, I am sending the JSON data to the server in the request body. Now, server side, my method is accepting books object. Guys, now tell me, am I sending the books object to the API from the postman? I am sending JSON data to the API in the postman. Come on, guys. Am I sending object to the API or I'm sending the JSON data to the API? I'm sending JSON data to the API. But this side in the API, what is method parameter? What is method parameter here? Books object is the method parameter. Who is converting the JSON data to this books object? Spring Boot is converting the JSON data to books object by using what? Jackson API. How this Spring Boot will understand it will use Jackson API? How it will understand it is using Jackson API? Message converters based on our content type header. In the content type I am setting that application/JSON. It will understand that we are sending the JSON data and it is going to use the Jackson API. It will convert the request body JSON data to books object. It will give to this method as a parameter. Inside this method, we can write whatever the logic we want. We can store the record into database also. But here what I am doing, I am just printing on the console and I am sending the response. What response? String body and status code as 201. 201 which is created. Created. You got my point? Very good. Now, next, come back to get request method. Come back to get request method. I have selected a get request method. Now, localhost colon 9090/books. Whenever we are getting the response from the API, we will expect the response in the JSON format or text format. How can we tell to the REST API that we want the response in the JSON or XML? Content type header, accept header, content type header or accept header? Accept header. Accept is application/JSON get request. What is the meaning of get request here? What is the meaning of get request here? Ritu Singh, can you speak out now? Ritu Singh, can you unmute your mic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the purpose of get request I'm sending?
Sir, to get the data, sir.
Get request I'm sending to get the data from the REST API.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Get the
how server will know that I want the data in the JSON format?
From accept header, sir.
By using accept header. I'm selecting the request type as a get localhost colon 9090/books. Accept header I'm giving application/JSON. Click on send button. Now I got the data in the JSON format.
JSON format. And if we select XML, then it give XML data.
It will give the data in the XML format. But come to our API, is our method having the logic to convert the object to JSON or object to XML?
Object to JSON.
Am I writing the code to convert the object to JSON or object to
No,
XML?
sir. Spring Boot will do internally, sir.
books object, not
Yes.
list is the books class object.
Yes,
Books
sir.
class internally having list of books. That's different
Yes,
story.
sir.
I'm
Yes,
taking
sir.
books class. It is written
Yes,
in
sir.
books object.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
My method is written in books object. But what response I am getting from that method when I send a request? JSON or XML.
Yes,
Based on
JSON.
based on accept header, my
Yes,
REST
sir.
API is understanding that I'm expecting the JSON as a response. So it is using message converter internally because this client sent a request with the accept header as a JSON. Now
Yes,
what
sir.
Spring Boot understand that we need to convert this books class data to JSON format and
Yes,
send
sir.
to client. I got it. Now, if I give XML application slash XML, then what will happen?
It will give XML data.
Click on send. Now I got the XML. Who is doing conversion to XML?
A Spring Boot by understanding this producers. Yeah, we
Now
trying to
Spring Boot will understand that this client is expecting XML response. So Spring Boot will use a message converter, will convert this object into XML format, will send that XML as a response to the client.
Yes, sir.
So you understand internally message converters are working?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Good. Now let's come back to Dev Prasad. Dev Prasad, tell me, sir, what is your doubt now? Dev Prasad, sir, what is your doubt in this application?
Sir, today I didn't get your class, sir. Whatever you feel and whatever you say, I didn't even get anything, sir. If you could repeat, it would be helpful. Otherwise, I will leave the class and join tomorrow, sir. There is no point in discussing further then. Okay.
Today class you did not
If you
understand
are able,
anything.
if you can repeat, I will listen. If you are not
No,
ready
sir, I
to
will repeat. That's not a.
I will leave simply and
No,
join
no.
tomorrow class, sir. There is nothing for me, and it looks for me.
One, Mr. Prasad, listen to me. I will repeat for you, sir. There is no problem in repeating.
Yes.
I don't lose anything if I repeat. My intention is to understand. I to teach you the subject in the understandable manner. Now, let me give you some time. I will repeat.
Sir,
Here,
I am
I have
also,
written one
I
method.
taught subject, sir. I know, sir. Try to understand.
Yeah, Prasad, I'm understanding you, sir. Okay, listen to me. I'm repeating for you now. If you are able to understand, that's well and good. If you are not able to understand, then let me try in a different way. Okay?
Yeah, come from the beginning, sir. Come from the beginning. Be slow, be precise.
Sir, generally, when you compare with
Sir, this is
other
not the
classes,
right discussion, sir. There are a lot of other people waiting for us.
Sure, sir, sure. Let's listen to here. Now, I have written one method.
No, I don't want this method. I can understand this. Come from the beginning, from where you have started. Starting point. Go for the starting point of the class. Go there. Initial step. Go back.
Book class,
Sir, don't feel
Or
otherwise,
page
sir. I'm so asking. So you created one project,
I'm
right?
I'm
With a
trying to
starter web.
understand. Yes, sir.
Yes. From that
Yes.
step you come.
Yeah.
Go back.
I have created one project.
Yes.
I have added some dependencies.
Yes.
Okay, web starter, dev tools, Lombok, Swagger I have added.
Okay.
After that, I have created one book class which is used to store the data. For this book class, I have used Lombok annotations. This is data all-args constructor which is going to generate the parameterized constructor for all these variables. In the Java, whenever we add a parameterized constructor, default constructor will not give by the compiler.
Okay.
You got my point?
Yes.
That is the reason I have added one more annotation called no-args constructor, which is used to generate the zero param constructor for the class. Now, how many constructors are available for the book class? Two constructors are available. One is no-args constructor, another one is all-args constructor.
Yes.
And data annotation will give you setter methods and getter methods for all the variables. This is simply a binding class, sir, nothing else.
Okay.
It is having some variables. For these variables, we are generating the setters getters to set the data. We are writing the constructor to initialize the variables in a single line. That's it. Now, in my application, I want to represent multiple books, not a single book. This class is used to represent a book. Now,
Yes.
as I want to represent multiple books, I'm taking one more class with a name called books class. Inside the books class, I'm taking list of a book. So can I say this is a variable which can hold a list of book objects?
Yes, we can say.
This is the variable which is used to hold list of book objects. Okay, sir. Now,
Okay, sir.
when I create this books class object, I can set multiple book objects to this variable in the form of collection. Now, in order to access this variable, in order to set the data to the variable, get the data to the variable, I am adding @data. What this @data will do? Will generate the setter method, will generate the getter method for the variable. For which variable? For this
For the
variable.
book list, sir.
Now, book list variable is there. For this variable, I want to generate the setter and getter. To generate the setter and getter, I am using Lombok annotation. @data.
Yes, yes.
Now, I want to represent XML data for this class. I want to convert this class, books class object into XML, XML into books class. For that, what I have taken? Root element.
XML root.
If I don't take this root element, क्या होगा? What will happen if I don't take this root element?
This will it will take only JSON format.
This class can be used only for JSON. This class cannot be used for XML.
XML, right?
That is the reason I am making this class as a binding class. So, with this, I hope you are clear with the binding classes.
Yes, sir.
One is the books class. Inside that book, I am using to represent a list of books. Books class can hold a list of books. That is a simple straightforward step.
Okay. Okay, sir. Got it.
इसके बाद now I have created REST controller. How I am using this class as a REST controller? By using this annotation. @REST controller. What is the purpose of @REST controller? What is the purpose of @REST controller? To represent this class as a distributed component.
Component, yes.
Now, I am taking one method here, getRequest method. When we will go for getRequest method? To send the data to clients. Now I am developing now. Tell me, am I developing a REST client or I am developing a REST API?
Rest API.
I am
REST
developing
API.
REST API.
API.
When you will write a method with getRequest in the API, if you want to send the data from API method to client application, then we will bind that method to getRequest. Matlab, client can get the data by using this method. Now, as this method is providing the response, we are telling producers in which format this method can produce the response. This method can produce the response in the XML format and JSON format, both. Now, client can choose in which format client wants that response. Whether client wants XML or client wants JSON, client will decide that. Client will send a request by using accept. If a client send a request with accept XML, XML data is coming as response. If a client send with accept as JSON, now application giving JSON data as response. You understand this method now?
Yes, Ashok, I got it.
Now, let's go to post request method. When we will go for post request method? When we will go for post request method, sir?
Whenever we want to send more than one record, sir.
I mean, post request method means now we need to think from
post
the
the
API
data.
side. To post the data, client will post the data. API side we will insert the record. Now post method will take the data from the body. In which format we can take it? I am telling consumes. I can take in the XML, I can take in the JSON. How the data will come to the post request? Body mein aata hai. That is the reason I am taking request body. Now, client is sending a post request with the body. In the body, client is putting JSON. How REST API will understand client is sending JSON data? That is the reason he is giving one header called content type. Content type. What is the meaning of content type? Come on, Ritu Singh or Dev Prasad, whoever can respond. What is the purpose of content type now? Hello. Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of content type now? In which format client is sending the data to the API? In which format client is sending the data to the API will be represented by content type. Based on the content type, Spring Boot will understand that data coming in the JSON, that JSON data will be converted to Java object using message converter. Using message converter. Is this clear for everyone, guys? Is this clear for everyone? How we developed this REST API? How the JSON data coming, XML data coming from client? How
Yes.
from API side JSON data going and XML data going to client?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any confusion, anyone? Srikanth is having one question. Srikanth Josh. Yes, Srikanth, what's your doubt?
Yes, Ashok. I have one question. I mean, why
Yeah.
only restriction to the XML? Why not JSON? Actually, we were explicitly representing to convert to XML, right? At the rate XML root element on the, I mean, with that class, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
why only we are representing for XML? Why not for JSON? I mean,
Sir,
this
no,
class
no,
is converting.
okay. You are asking that you are writing a XML root element annotation for XML conversion. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
What next?
why we are not mentioning anything about for JSON? How it is automatically
Okay.
converting?
I got it.
Yes,
I
Spring
got
Boot
it.
internally support JSONs.
Yeah. No. Srikanth, what is the thing is, whenever you are working with XML, there should be only one root element in the XML. So that is the reason, if you want to convert any Java object into XML format, that Java class object should be represented as a root element name. That is mandatory. But whenever you go for JSON, a plain Java class also can be converted to JSON. There is no restriction on the class to convert into JSON. That is the reason you no need to write any annotation related to JSON. It's not mandatory. For XML, it's mandatory because that is the specification that we need to follow for the XML data. There should be only one root element. Your class should be represented as a root element. We have to specify that manually. But for JSON, we don't have that specification because for JSON, do you have any root element? You don't have any root element for the JSON, right? JSON is just a key value. Inside the curly braces, it can be represented. But how we will represent the data for the XML?
Okay, yeah.
How we will represent data for the XML?
Compound elements.
Parent element hona chahiye. We need to have that parent element.
Okay.
For the parent element, what should be the name that we have to specify here?
Okay. Okay, understood. Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Very good. Message converters. Internally, it is using JAXB message converter, JSON message converter. Okay. Next.
Hello.
Who is? Yes, sir. Rajesh.
Yeah. Good night, sir.
Good night. Yeah, tell me, sir.
I'm using Lambok in my project, sir.
Okay.
But when I write data, but it is unable to generate the getters and setters.
Sir, if you just add the Lombok dependency in the pom.xml, it will not work, sir.
No, sir. I have seen your YouTube video and I have installed it in.
You already installed that Lombok, still it is not working. Okay, we will check it, sir. We will conduct one session for doubts clarification separately to resolve the problem. Meanwhile, instead of using that Lombok, you generate the setters, getters and continue your practice.
Yes. And one more thing, sir.
Rajesh?
That Swagger also I'm getting some exceptions, sir.
Okay,
After changing that.
Okay, sure. We will check that, sir. Tomorrow we have a class. Can we have the class tomorrow, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Remaining people. No,
I think we can have Ashok questions.
people are saying no. Some people saying mixed response I'm getting. Some people say yes, some people say no. Okay, then you can practice Sunday. We can have on Monday, sir. No worry. We can have it on Monday. No worry. Yeah, Rajesh, I will check into that problem, sir. Monday, we will conduct one session. In the some doubt session, we will conduct. At that time, I will check the problems. The remaining people also some facing some issues. I will check into this problem. Okay.
Sir, is it okay? We will connect on Sunday also tomorrow.
Tomorrow, let's do one thing then. Tomorrow it's not like a class. Tomorrow I will set up a meeting only for doubts clarification. Tomorrow evening sometime I will conduct a session. Okay. I will give you a message in the group. I will give you a new Zoom link for the doubt session tomorrow. Tomorrow evening I will send you a message in the group. Let's take at evening around 7 o'clock. Okay. Evening
Okay,
7
sure,
to 8 I will take for the doubts. The people who are having the doubts can join. I will give you a meeting link in the Telegram group. Evening 7 p.m. You can make it 7 o'clock.
Okay, sir.
Good.
Hi sir, this is Subramaniam.
Hi Subramaniam.
Sir, if you get, we are testing the API sir in the Postman, okay? Show me once.
Your voice is not coming, sir.
Show me sir once Postman get request.
Okay.
He's asking to open Postman.
Sir, here we are using accept header, right sir?
Why your voice not coming?
Sir, here we are using accept header, right sir? If you use one more accept header, what will happen?
You want to use one more accept header?
Like
Application slash JSON. Okay? You want to use accept header 2 times. You want to send the request. Huh? What is happening? Which one it is considering?
First one.
XML. Okay.
First one it is considering.
Okay. Okay sir, got it. Thank you. Yeah, and one more thing sir, I have sent you a mail. I haven't seen that.
When you have sent it?
Yeah, long back sir.
Okay, I will check it. Subramaniam, your name. I will check that.
Yeah. Ashoka IT school only sir. Mail.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
will check that.
Thank you.
Okay, right, guys. Now, Vaishnavi ready? You have some question? Vaishnavi ready? Can you unmute your mic? Vignesh Pichadi, Bhavnagiri.
Hello.
Hello, Vignesh.
Yes, sir. This is Vignesh, sir. Hello. Sir, actually,
Yes,
that
sir, tell me.
Swagger application, sir. Day before yesterday, what we have done, sir. See, when I try to access it in Postman, that Swagger data, JSON data, I am getting, sir. But when I try to access that URL in Google Chrome for Swagger, I am not getting anything, sir.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
getting
Tomorrow we
white
will
label.
see that doubt session. Tomorrow 7 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Tomorrow 7 o'clock we have a doubt session.
Yes,
I'll
I'm
join.
getting white label error.
Sure. We will check this.
Okay.
Tomorrow 7 o'clock class I will check it.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay? The people who are facing the issues, please join the doubt session tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's not a regular class, it's only for doubts clarification. People who are facing the problems in applications can join tomorrow at 7 p.m. 7 to 8 o'clock I will be there to assist you in solving your problems which you are facing while developing. Okay, guys? Yeah, good. Anyone else having doubts? the doubts? Aruna having doubt. Karan Singh having a doubt. Yeah, please speak out.
Sir, hi, sir. Actually, one question. Did you send the same notes on 12th and 11th? Because I'm seeing same class notes actually.
Your voice breaking, Aruna.
Yes, sir, I'm audible.
Which day?
Jan
Which
12th
dates you
and
are not?
11th. Jan 12th and 11th, sir.
Jan 12th and 11th. I will check it once, madam.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Karan Singh.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir, I want to ask in post method. Sir, when we rendering like when we want to like set the data for DAO layer. Hello.
आवाज अच्छे से नहीं आ रहा है.
Sir,
Down layer.
yeah.
Okay.
When we rendering same data, when we getting this JSON file from post method. So while setting these fields in for business purpose in DAO layer, so how do we rendering each object? Like
List dot for each method I am using, na? For each. This is
sir,
Java 8
this
concept.
this method is working for simply we are printing, but when we are doing some business logic, we are implementing, definitely we use Pojo class, Japanese classes, right, for setting the value for each object.
Yes.
So how will you do, sir?
No. Sir, here already we are doing for that Pojo only, right? So means it is a class. Whenever I call books dot get book list, I have got the list of Pojos only.
Yes, sir. This is just for like printing the value which
No, I understand. Here
object,
just
right?
now I got the list of book objects. I'm just printing on the console. In future, we will store these objects into database one by one.
Yeah, after doing after performing some business logic, so definitely we need to set each value, right?
Each object will be persisted into database. Each object will represent one record, right? So that record will be inserted to table. Now, if I get a 10 records in this collection, 10 records will be inserted to table. That
But also
persisted.
we need to set the value, no, for each object, each field we need to set, right?
What value we will set? Already the value coming with setting only, right?
That is doing
Whatever
by
the-
Spring Boot.
That is going by Spring Boot. Whatever the data you are sending, this data is already coming in. This data already stored to object, and we got that object. This object contains data already. Spring Boot is binding that JSON data to this object.
Okay.
This way data already here.
Okay.
You just need to use that object to perform any further operation, like storing it to database and whatever you want. Already that object contains the data.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thanks, sir. Sir, actually thing is, currently I am working on civic project now. Sir, like I have to
EJB project, okay?
Yes, sir. There I have to write each and everything, sir. So,
EJB project.
yes, sir.
I don't understand, sir. Why you people voice is disconnecting in the middle, yeah? I'm not getting the questions completely.
Sir, what I'm saying, like currently I'm working in EJB based project.
Okay.
So there I am using like Java 1.7. So this thing I have to write manually in business logic. Here, like we are getting.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
You have to write it. Okay. And guys, if anyone feeling that I am going speed, please let me know in the message so that I will repeat the session once again. I don't have any problem in repeating the class. Don't feel uncomfortable. If you are not able to understand, or if you feel that I am going speed, please let me.
Sir, I feel like you are going slow. Not speed. Sir, when we are going to start microservices? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello?
Sir is not there, I think.
Yeah, hi guys, I'm here now. Someone is asking a question, when microservice will start? I
Yes,
think
sir.
we need another 1 week of time to complete the REST APIs. Then we will start the microservices.
Okay, sir. Sir,
Okay?
just
Because
yes, sir.
we need to understand how to develop exception handling, how to handle exceptions in the REST API, and how to develop clients in the REST API, how to develop a REST client. Once it is done, then we will go for microservices.
Client, we are going to develop some using Angular React client.
Not that client, man, REST client.
Oh, okay.
B2B client, है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes.
वो वाला.
Ashok, basically we were developing using Spring Boot, right? Not
Yes.
pure REST, not pure with REST, right? We are just doing with the Spring Boot concept. I mean, we are using Spring Boot concepts, right? Actually, pure REST is there, right? So we are not going anywhere into that.
We will develop one application with that also. Complete Spring REST.
I was not talking about Spring REST. Only REST is there, right? I mean, only for
Okay, by using JAX-RS you are talking,
JAX-RS, yeah.
JAX-RS.
Yeah, web services, yeah.
JAX-RS. Now, if you want, I can develop one example on that also, but nobody is using in the industry nowadays for the latest projects. That's outdated story.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because nowadays in every project people are using Spring. So with the Spring we can develop the REST API directly. Why to go for JAX-RS, which is old approach?
Okay, then no problem, Ashok. Yeah, continue. I think I don't want. Yeah, but yeah, just for asking.
Yeah, I got your point. JAX-RS was the old approach to develop REST API. When the Spring was not there.
Okay.
Anyone having any other questions?
Hello?
Yes.
Sir, I want to ask one question. We are inserting multiple records. That's why we are using replace body annotation. Suppose we want to insert only one record. So that time we should also use for replace body. Yes, same way we have to do
Yes,
it.
if you want to. Yes, sir.
Okay.
If you want to insert only one record now, yeah, you can send that one record. Now, if you see in this JSON, I'm sending multiple records. If I remove these multiple records, if I keep one record, then it will come as only one record. In the collection, only one record will be available.
Okay. There is some another way.
In this collection, only one record will be available.
Okay, sir, I got. Okay, I got.
Yeah, good. Right, guys. Chalo. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow if you have any doubts. Yeah, rest
Good night, sir.
covered.
Good night.
Videos also will be covered.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night,
Good night, sir.
guys. See you
Good
tomorrow.
night, sir. Bye.